Hey, what's up? No, it might not be here yet. Now, how about now? Now, how about now?
Okay. I'll wait for you to show up before.
I've been here because 43 seconds elapsed.
That was 43 seconds already.
Yep. According to
My
my
timer,
stopwatch, I set.
my stopwatch didn't quite say that, but okay.
It's all good. I'm here. Um, do I want to change that now or do I want to change that in a minute? You know what? Suppose I could change that now, actually. You know what? I'll change it next time. We made those decisions on the fly. I'll change Wrestle Babble there to the commentary table as I do all the other branding changes. But,
Yeah.
all right. So, what is up?
Uh, Not much. I'm getting started late here because of late night football stuff going on.
Yep, but in fairness, we only got like two things to really hit. We have, because we did do one on Friday night, we only have to review a little bit of Saturday Night Main Event and Raw. So hopefully we can knock this out in an hour or less.
Yeah.
I like to shoot for an hour typically, but we got a late start, so if we go over and if we go a little under an hour this time, I'm not going to be sad.
No problem. Do you want to start with Saturday night main event?
I actually want to start with I'm Matt and you're also Matt. We are
Oh,
both
yes.
Matts. That's who we
They're
are,
both
and we're just gonna
Mets.
babble about wrestling. But that's gonna change. Not the babbling part. We babble a shit ton.
Yeah.
But um the name will be switching over to the commentary table, and you'll be able to find it streaming here a day or two later on YouTube, and a day or two later on um, Spotify, all by the name the commentary table. But yeah, besides that little order of business, we're all set to go. And yeah, we can start wherever you want. You want to start with Saturday Night Main Event? We can do that.
Yeah, might as well. I actually took notes for Raw, but I'm not gonna drag that out.
That's fine. Touch on notes
So
that
I
are
don't
important.
so I
Like
don't
star
forget
notes
stuff.
next time, or highlight notes. Highlighters are underrated nowadays.
I just wrote down like the basic talking to scenes and matches, and that's it.
We approach this way differently. Like for me, when I look at this stuff, I for example, we'll get to the main event in a second. I just want to give a quick example because it's fresh on top of mind right now. Was the bickering between Liv and Finn to me now? Like I've been
Uh,
waiting for the Finn Liv turn where they just break away from Dom, but it's starting to feel more and more to me like a couple bickering already. Like we never saw the behind the scenes relationship. Like they're bickering now, like they're gonna break apart a little bit, and almost be like the reveal was, oh yeah, well she was seeing Finn the entire time anyways,
yeah,
because
yeah,
of
it's kind
the
of getting that today too.
the whole like, well we just listen to Finn and we win, right? Yeah, right. That whole thing, I'm like, oh my god, it feels like a couple.
And then he was giving kind of a sarcastic, just like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what you
exactly.
do.
Yeah,
You
so
do.
I don't know if we're ever gonna actually see the Finn Liv storyline play out the way I thought it was going to, where they break away. I feel like that may have already happened behind the scenes, and this is a way to turn Dom into a good guy.
Maybe that's an interesting take on that.
Because if those two break Dom because of their past this secret tip like relationships thing going on, um, everyone's gonna feel bad for broken-hearted Dom, essentially. Potentially, depends on how they do it. If they can do it well enough or not, we'll see. The heat for him is still insane, but
Yeah,
long-term play, that might be one way. Eventually, you try to turn Dom back to, even if not a good guy, at least um, you continue the heat on Liv and Finn by doing that and making them out to be even a worse villain. But anyways, so like when I see that, that's what clicks in my head, and I want to talk about that. You know, the unless there's something major in a match, like the winners and losers, like people have either watched or they haven't watched, and they're gonna look up the results. But like the key moments are what stick in my head, and that's what I want to talk about the most. So,
well,
but
I mean, those are the things I wrote down.
okay, good.
I mean, that's like the second thing I have written down.
Well, like
Just
I know sometimes we go through every single match, and by all means, if you want to, we can. But just so you know how my brain works. I look at that and go, I want to talk about that. That's an
Honestly, for
interesting angle.
Raw, I mean, unless I phased out for a second, there's like three major matches, and they were all long.
Yeah, they had longer matches. They had more backstage scenes, and they
Yeah.
had more promo stuff. So
Well, I mean, should we just run through Raw since we're already on it, or what do you want to do?
I don't know. I mean, we can talk about main event, but not much happened on main event. More happened after it ended than it actually was what happened on main event. You know what I mean?
All right.
So let's just
All
knock
right.
that out. Let's just go
All
ahead and
right.
knock out main event.
So main event of I kind of want to touch on that. Your kind of like initial thought of Jesse not commentating as much as he we kind of maybe initially thought was going to happen.
Right.
Um, yeah, it just kind of did that little here's our little table just for like opening up the show. Didn't really touch back to him maybe once. I don't remember if they did.
It was only a
But
2 hour
then he
show,
was
so yeah,
just but then it was third mic for
the
the
main
main
event.
event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which overall was good
That's
enough. It
exactly how they're using JR in AEW now. Well, they don't even
yeah.
toss to him because they don't have the podium situation, but they bring him in for, excuse me, like the main event.
I guess for the main event we can I don't know if you want to handle the awkwardness with Jesse being thrown in their commentary. Because it was a little it like he did okay, but it was also a little weird.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But I mean, you have a lot of different things that go on there. Like, first off, a commentary table like that has a certain chemistry you have to build to begin with. Typically, I mean, you have some that are better than others at jumping in there and doing their thing with other people, but for the most part, to build a commentary, build the relationship, the charisma behind them. And this, you're just throwing in a random element. So right off the bat, you're gonna have some awkwardness, in my opinion. Two, the dude is from a completely different generation, and so it makes it so much harder to like know if he knows when to rein it in a little bit. And so I'm gonna bet that they were like Michael Cole and Pat were gonna be on like pins and needles on how to handle that, and that's saying something because I don't think Pat's ever on pins and needles handling anything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
So
yeah, I don't remember exactly some of the things that Jesse threw out there, but I noticed at the time that Pat and Cole were both kind of like, okay,
how
how
do
we
we
kind of
approach
handle
this?
this? Like
Yep.
they're just kind of try to present it as like we're your friend here,
Yeah.
like we're with you.
Yeah. They
We're
did a
glad to
good.
have you here.
Yeah, I think they tried to do a good job with it. I mean, I knew he was going to make a reference to Damien. I knew that when he was wearing that. And then
Yeah, that was a pretty good laugh.
yeah, but even that, like Pat's like, well, that snake lived a very long life, happy, free range life, then died of old age, and then became your cape essentially.
Free range. It lived in a sack.
It lived in DDP's house in the wall for a while. That was a fantastic
Yeah,
Hall of Fame speech.
yeah. That probably ended that marriage.
Kimberly went out supposedly, and DDP's like, "You gotta find that snake. You gotta find that snake."
Thank goodness it wasn't the Cobra.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wild stuff. That's dude. Some of the older, I think it's gonna get. We'll see. The Hall of Fame speeches right now are fantastic just because of the wildness of the time period. I hope they stay that way, but I don't know if they're going to as time goes on. They're probably gonna get more and more bland as the characters got more and more bland, which is a good thing. We have athletes that
Maybe.
don't go to the bar every night and do stupid stuff every time.
Yeah,
In
if anything, they go to their buses and play video games.
right, right. Well, I
So
don't know. Xavier Woods does that, but he has some interesting stories to tell.
yeah, well, fair enough. But
I'll leave it at
yeah, I
that.
mean, it's changing a bit.
Right,
Is it
but
back in the '70s where it's just like all you had to do after you're wired from a match is go get drunk
yeah,
and do blow.
yeah. I mean, that was even in the '80s and part of the '90s too, depending on
and then
who
do
you
your
were.
finisher on Vince.
Yeah, ridiculous. So okay. So yeah, I think they handled it just about what I thought they were gonna do. Honestly, I could not see them having him in them for the entire show. I always forget about the podium. They did that so much. I always forget about that. So like out in the middle of
Oh,
nowhere. But
yeah.
I think they did a nice job blending the ring, like I said they might do with the turnbuckle pads,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
the
The
ropes
red,
with the red,
white,
white, and
blue
blue,
ropes, yeah.
and then
The,
they didn't lose the LED boards around the ring, but they did bring back the bike rails for the entrance ramp. So um,
yeah.
that was they did a nice job blending it. I thought it
Yeah,
was good.
the railing you can lock your bike up
Yeah,
with.
the bike racks.
That was good. Yeah, the very entrance, the light board of the entrance, that
Yep, I thought they
old
might bring
style
that
one.
back.
That
Mm-hmm.
was really good.
Yep.
Um, it was very interesting having the very narrow entrance so
All
that
very
fans
old
on both
school.
sides could basically get to your your shoulders, give you a pat in the back as you're going in there.
Yep.
Um, and I think we all noticed it. Just the two security
Oh yeah,
that
they had extra
walked with
security
them.
just in case, which was smart.
But did you notice the security that was actually behind the guardrails? Like at the one corner, there was a security person on both sides, just
I'm not
at like the
surprised.
halfway point.
They're getting more and more security focused, and they're getting better at looking into the crowd instead of looking at the ring.
Yeah,
As somebody who goes to shows with someone with a security themed background, um, for the longest time, security, and even at like the NXT shows we used to go to at the Agora, security would sit ringside, and you see it even at like indie shows where the students sit like inside the barricade facing the ring. Well, your biggest threat's coming from outside the ring, so you got to be sitting facing the crowd to get a better vantage point of stuff, and they're doing better and better with that, honestly.
yeah.
Um,
For
so
the ones that were in the guardrail, for most of the entrances, they kind of blended in. But there was a few of them I noticed, like at least the one guy's like right there on point, and it's just like, you're clearly not a fan. You're
right,
just standing there like a statue with your security guard shirt on.
yep, and that's usually a giveaway too, though. Like the minute like you start seeing security form somewhere in the crowd, like here comes somebody from the crowd. Like tonight's episode of Raw, like when Rollins is coming down from the crowd, he's coming well ahead of time. Like if you're in any section near that, you see the few extra security guards making the way down the ramp, like down the stairs to make sure that he's good to go. And so it's cool and it's good, but if they're live, they're kind of a tip off when someone's coming out of the crowd. But
Yeah,
a necessary evil to the situation, unfortunately, with the way the world is today.
yeah. There's all sorts of problems, but it seems like in recent history, WWE's been doing pretty well. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like there's been too
Well,
many incidents.
there's listen, there's a couple places you are running a risk if you jump a guardrail, and you if you run into the octagon in the UFC, odds are it's going to go badly for you. Like if you roll into that ring and against like somebody who's 6'2", 225, it's probably going to go bad for you. So like there's certain places you don't like if you try to go streaking down a football field. Nowadays linebackers lay you out. Like it's not a good move to do some of the stuff they do. Um, Baseball games are probably still pretty safe. There's not too many Albert Bells out there anymore knocking people out. So,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
but yeah, I mean, they've been pretty good about it. But I just think also part of it is just what the venue is that you're gonna jump onto the field on, and I feel like WWE's a safe one because of how large the people tend to be. I think that
Yeah,
helps to tour and eliminate some of the headaches they might have. So, but yeah, I think overall the layout was great. What was the first off? Nothing happened during the show. No belts changed hand. Nothing really happened to really
no, it's
nothing radically changed the storyline. All we've had happen was it advanced the storylines for each one of those to the next notch. That's all it did. Like it didn't take anything. Nothing
Yeah, in a way,
concluded. Nothing
it,
did anything besides just advance the story just a little bit.
it didn't seem like a main event. I mean,
Right.
belts were on the line, but everyone retained. The only thing that changed was Green getting the first of the U.S.
Yeah,
women's
the first
belts.
crowning of that, yes.
Yeah. So that's not even a belt change. It's just like, well, no one has a belt. It's a tournament. Someone has to win it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that was a good match too. I was very happy
It
with that
was.
match.
Yeah,
Again,
what you expected kind of panned out.
yeah, I just depended on what they wanted for the belt. That's all. What they,
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
you kind of brought up your point of it when we talked before this Friday, it that made a lot of sense. Where it's just like, oh, she has that big a presence outside of the ring on social media, and you keep seeing what they're doing with the stuff after
right.
the live show goes dark, and they record something that happened after the show, keeping you engaged. It makes a lot more sense that they pick her because that's kind of what they're all about right now.
Especially for a new title. And they're trying to promote the women's divisions in the exact same equal light as the men's, which is great. With the Intercontinental tournament going on as we saw tonight for the women's belt, the women's Intercontinental belt, um, which is all great. But if you're trying to bring spotlights to these belts now, you need both wrestling and you're going to need both promotion. And I think Chelsea running around with the belt, doing all the promotional stuff, which I think she excels at, even if it's like a small skip before a show. Like I said, we talked about last week, the fake mustache and why is your favorite wrestler Chelsea Green? Like she's gonna do that stuff now with the belt, and it's gonna get engagement, and people are gonna know that hey, look, there are no more women's belts now out there, and I think that just is probably what they were shooting for with that. I still think
Yeah,
it's Meechin's in ring work has been phenomenal, so I think she's got to be going for a title at all times, essentially, because you want to highlight her in ring skill right now.
yeah.
Not to take away from Chelsea Green, but I just think Meechin. I hate to say this, and it sounds so bad, but I think basically because the ring size and the structure is built for men and their body weight, that when you have certain women in the ring, they don't move in the ring the same way the men do. Not to say it looks herky jerky or anything like that, but it d- d- Chelsea Green goes to bounce on the damn rope and the rope doesn't move. Like the rope is meant to
Yeah,
be able to support like the Big Show climbing to the second rope. Like there's a difference there. It's not designed ideally for that. It's designed ideally
yeah,
for someone who's 190 to 220, and Chelsea Green is never going to come close to 190 or 220 in weight, for example. So when they go to
no,
hit the ropes, or they go to do like springboard maneuvers, it's one of the reasons why Io Sky is phenomenal as well. Is because Io uses the ring in a way that's great for her. But anyways, um, they don't have the same movement in the ring. It looks a little bit different. Meech in the way she gets around that ring, even though the ring, just like I was saying with Io Sky, isn't designed for someone of her size and stature, she still looks as fluid as any of the men wrestling in that ring. And I
yeah,
think that's a huge kudos to how they do things and how they adjusted their craft and honed their craft for their body type in that ring. I can say the same thing about Rey Mysterio. Like you always see him do the lay back bounce off the bottom rope, off the middle rope, because
yeah,
the ring's
yeah,
not designed for someone 5 foot, supposedly 4. Like
yeah.
he's billed at 5'6", but anybody I've ever met him says he's shorter than 5'6". So
That makes sense.
so these are certain things I look at when I watch anybody in the ring. Really, is do you use the ring to the best of your ability for your structure? And Meechin is just far and above right now anybody else. The way she moves around that ring in that women's division, um, short of maybe like Ripley right now, and even Liv times hits the ropes at times. Her character is perfect. She's got it all nailed down. Don't get me wrong, but there's time when she hits the ropes and it doesn't look as clean or fluid as say what Meechin's doing. So also to be fair though, there's also a big experience gap. Meechin's been doing this for a lot longer than Liv, um, having her time on the indie scene and in TNA and everything else. But so yeah, Chelsea's great, love her, glad she got the belt, but Meechin deserves additional spotlight down the road for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. It's kind of why I thought she might win it.
She needs to be whatever belt they want to use as the primary belt to keep defending. Put that, give her a shot at it, and maybe put it on her and let her wrestle weekly or every other week if she wants to be there that much because she could do that. Chelsea can do that. Don't get me wrong, but Chelsea's character is more her strong point. So let her
Yeah,
also do the social engagements. Let her do the social media stuff. Let her go throughout first pitches and do the waves and be Chelsea Green, the character.
yeah.
Um,
Her character and her personality is what's gonna start making that brand new belt in the women's division have some importance. Actually, stand out.
it's gonna make it stand
Not
out, but
not
they're
just
gonna
be
need
like, "Hey, we got a belt and
she can wrestle well
it's a
enough
belt."
too that it's gonna be fine. Don't get me wrong; it's not like they're putting on someone who can't wrestle. She can wrestle,
Yeah,
but I'm trying to compare Meechin to Seth Rollins right now. Essentially, if you want that person that's gonna go in there and give you an absolute great performance for that division night in and night out, I think is the girl right now. I think she's the one that you can put a belt on that's a new title and give the belt the reputation it needs because of the wrestler. A lot of times you put a belt on a wrestler because you need to bring the wrestler up to the belt. I think this is a case like Seth Rollins where you can put the belt on Meechin and Meechin will bring the belt up to the quality of wrestling is what I'm getting at.
yeah.
So that's all. I could have flipped a coin on who should have got the belt. I think they're both phenomenal choices, but um, I think just Meechin's put in a lot of work lately. That's all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was about the only thing that happened that was new. Nothing else happened that was new. I didn't
No.
understand the logic behind why um, we kept the belt on Gunther. That made no sense to me. But
Yeah,
um,
and I was kind of confused by that too. I'm like, okay, he just holds on to it. Why?
my guess is they have a different opponent for him lined up for like Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and stuff, and they're clearly going to have Finn and Priest battle it out some more yet too. So
Yeah, I guess those two are just gonna. I don't know. It's just so weird. It's like those two are gonna feud, but then who are they gonna stick with Gunter? Because
no,
why does he
you could.
still have the title?
I mean, anybody could be ready for Gunther next. The winner of Punk and Seth could technically go after Gunther. The uh, don't forget Drew's running around somewhere,
Yeah,
but looks like Drew's going to feud with Sammy for a little bit. But so there's a lot of options for Gunther. I just didn't understand it overall personally. But I thought there'd be a lot more drama and storytelling you could do if you put it on Finn. I'm staring at the image on my screen though of the Terror Twins and Finn back from this time last year at a house show, and it makes me wonder: do they eventually take Liv and put him with Finn, live with Finn, and have this mixed scenario happen at some point?
oh,
Just seeing that obviously that those two are Finn and Priest are gonna feud. I wonder if Liv and Rhea's feud will kind of boil over into this as well at some point. It's just something to think about. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
Again, tonight it felt like they were already past the relationship stage to the bickering stage, like the almost married couple stage where they're annoyed with each other to that point. So I thought maybe the whole thing would happen behind the scenes and there would just be a reveal at the end, but I don't know.
I
So
mean, it's still possible with what happened with Raw today with them losing the tag titles by
right,
the War Raiders. So that could add fuel to the fire where those two dropped the belts, Finn and Liv eventually reveal like a relationship, and then they're just
but I'm trying to figure out what would cause that reveal now. Like what would be the catalyst to cause that?
well, for a bit, Finn kind of seemed like just pissed at all of Judgment Day, like just everyone, like just
Right.
sick of everybody. Um, I don't know. I guess there might need to be a little bit more of a push. I don't know if
Something
losing
has
the
to be a
tag
catalyst to make it
titles.
happen. Because right at first, the logical sense was you take the belt off of you put the belt on Finn, and now you have the dominant duo in the women's champion and the world champion, and it makes sense that you would just leave the lackey behind essentially. But now Finn is falling behind because of the outside interference from Priest, and Judgment Day doesn't seem to be there for him. So now I don't know what the catalyst would be to keep them together. You could still reveal a relationship, but like the end of one pretty easily. You know what I mean? But I don't understand how they would do.
Yeah.
So
Uh, the only thing I can think of is like Finn pulling away from the Judgment Day, like if they're not going to help him, and Liv keeps then like pursuing Finn, ignoring Dom, and then that creates a rift. It's the only
okay,
thing I
I
can
could
see
see that. I
right
could play.
now.
I could see the. I don't say hard to get, but the Finn goes away and it angers Liv because Liv doesn't get what she wants, so she pursues.
Yeah.
That makes
And
some sense.
then Dom starts to get jealous, and she has to kind of show Dom that she's the one in charge, not him,
Right.
just like it was with Rhea.
Yep.
And but then you have to get rid of the other two. You have to get rid of the Ben's tag team partner. You have to get rid of Rochelle.
I don't have to get rid of Rochelle.
Uh,
Rochelle could stay with Liv
I
because
guess.
of girl code or something. I don't understand. But um, you would have to get rid of Carlito and JD. But
Yeah.
just
And
they could just follow Dom though. If they had to at first.
yeah.
All right, we got back off track, and we got to get back on track again because it's gonna be a shorter run. Um, yeah. So that match made no sense to me. So Gunther gets the win.
Yeah.
Liv's match was phenomenal. I thought. I think Io and Liv both did great.
Yeah. I was seeing points where I'm just like, holy crap, are they actually going to drop at the EO? And I get
Uh,
disappointed on that.
yeah. The reason why I bring this up though is our one friend was watching with us, and our one friend hasn't been paying too close of attention, especially to WWE. And he was like, "Yeah, that was a good match. That was the good match of Saturday night. Was the Io and Liv match. So kudos to them on that one because that one actually seemed to have stolen the show for a non WWE fan. And then
Oh,
I guess we get to the main event, which is Cody and KO.
yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on
Um,
the end?
um, the end
End of the actual
or
match.
after?
Actual
Okay.
match.
Um, I mean, it was okay. It was interesting how they built it up with like was it just Cody ending up hitting the referees over and over again, and
Yeah,
KO getting annoyed by it.
yes, accidental hits, and then KO brings the chair in the ring, doesn't use it, or gets foiled and attempted to use it, and then um,
Gets Crossroads done it.
onto the chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just looks down. Hey, there's a chair here. I'll scoot over a little bit.
yeah.
And drop him on that.
Yep. So Cody ends up using the chair to help get the assisted win, and sure that
Yeah.
makes KO's point of not things not being fair more and more relevant to himself in his own head.
Yeah. It kind of perpetuates
There we go. That's a good word.
this
It's a good
this
word.
this like feud that I'm guessing they're gonna nurse this for a while. I don't see this being the like end all WrestleMania thing with Cody, but I guess it could be.
It depends on what else happens along the way.
Yeah.
You had the aftermath really was the big storyteller. The biggest stuff happened after the cameras went off, and
Yeah.
Kevin hit that package pile driver and then stepped on him when he was on the stretcher,
Oh yeah, like
on the
stood on
board.
him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is the most interaction we've seen Trips have in a while physically when he came out and knocked the belt out of KO's hands.
Yeah.
So
But then he didn't take it away from KO. KO just went and picked it back up and walked out with it anyways.
yeah,
Yeah, he actually picked it right back up. I thought he like knocked it out of his hands and took it away from him, but no. KO still walked into the back with the belt.
yeah,
So
yeah. But I don't know what to expect from that. I don't know if Triple H is going to try to be involved in some way in said scenario, whether it be physically or ringside or what his game plan is. But he has been coming out to the ring a lot for this storyline, so I'm curious to see how involved he gets for this storyline. I
yeah,
think he's already said he's fine being done from in-ring performance, but um, to come out and knock the title out of his hand and act that way makes me wonder, like, is he going to be like an overseer, like putting Kevin Owens through a gauntlet? Is he going to try to suspend Kevin Owens and both Kevin and Cody take some time off now, or what the game plan is there? It was just weird to see him get so physical for the first time in a while.
do we see the winged belt again because KO has it, or it just gets handed off backstage and it's just like, all right, well, back in the storage for now.
That's going to be probably the biggest part of SmackDown is if he comes out with it or not.
Yeah,
If he
have
comes
to
out
see, I
with it,
guess.
then we'll see a lot of it. If he doesn't come out with it, then we're going to assume it got put back in its little case and
Yeah, we'll
put
see it
away.
next main event.
Yep.
I did like that the pile driver this time was more believable. One, because the camera angle and just that, that package pile driver that he did, where it's just, I mean, in all reality, I'm sure he was perfectly safe. However, it looked friggin' devastating from the camera angle you got and how fast it was done.
Yeah. Yeah. The
It
way
looked bad.
the production level of it was much better on this one in terms of showing devastation.
Yeah.
Maybe they purposely did the first one the way they did to show, hey, look, we're still safe. Don't one worry.
I,
And then the
I, I,
second one,
I doubt it.
they could have just missed it on the camera cues, but it's hard to imagine that they would pick such a poor angle.
I think that might have been what they had at that moment, went with it, and then in post for
They fixed
everything
it in
else,
post for
they
sure.
fixed
They
it.
don't show from like the legs down,
Yeah.
KO's legs down, so you don't see anything
Or
with that.
you get like a totally different angle. I did see a different angle on
Right,
a
and
few
that's
of
my
them.
point. I'm surprised they didn't cut to a behind the back angle of it, so to speak, instead of a head on angle where you wouldn't get as good of a view when they hit it. 'Cause they have so many cameras there.
Yeah.
But no, Cody had his chin tucked really well, so I imagine all things are good. If you look, I mean, his chin is buried in his chest the
Yeah.
best it can be. So I imagine all things are good. This is just a good way for Cody to take some time off. The man does a million meet and greets, and I think he's taken up like John Cena's role of being the Make a Wish Foundation guy, essentially,
Probably.
and
I mean, he's so over with the kids.
right, and he's doing
You
all
always see
kinds
one of
of
the
stuff.
kids wear a
He
coat.
went he went to the one dude's wedding just because he had a
Whoa.
sign.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he posted from it, but yeah, there was a house show, I believe it was, where there was a sign saying Cody would, I don't remember if it was best man or come to my wedding. And he went out and talked to the guy in the crowd during it and essentially came back with, well, I'm free that day, so I guess I can, and went to the wedding.
It sort of depends where it's at too. Like, you're just gonna end up on a weird part of the country, away from like your next show, and
They
just be
all
like,
have
"All right,
private
I'm
jets.
here."
They can be wherever they need to be whenever. I have
All right.
That's my pet peeve with that because everyone's always like, so and so's debuting. They can't debut. They're posting from their home in Florida and they're in Pennsylvania this day. And I'm like, the post could have went up at whatever time, and each major company has their own private jets. They can get anywhere they need to be within essentially 4 hours across the country.
Yeah.
So
Um, that raises a question for me. Did Pat McAfee do the the college
There was only
Saturday
one game this
show.
week. It was Army
Okay.
Navy
So
week.
they didn't do game day, so
No.
it was just free. I was wondering about that. I would have figured that would have been the scenario. Wherever the heck he was at,
Oh, they would just
WWE
flown
would
him.
have just been, yeah, it just would have been ready. Like, here's your private jet, getting you
Between
here.
college game day and WWE, you get flown wherever you need to go. Like Kurt Herbstreit gets helicoptered to whatever game he has to go. If he's calling a noon game or like whatever clock game or an early game, there's another commentary guy on there that's so big that they will fly him by wherever to get him back to his game for it. So they have no problem flying Pat. Like it's college game day is a massive money maker. So you combine that with the logistics of WWE and their own plane, yeah, they're Pat's good to go wherever he needs to go. There's no
Yeah.
concern there.
Yeah, well, it amazes me that, like, when college game day comes up, you know, just in the fall, he dips out from commentating for
Well, sports is where he
WWE.
makes his money at, and football is his bread and butter more so than anything else because it was what he played.
I understand, but the fact that he could just jet to the next thing he has to be at, I'm a little surprised he doesn't do both.
Maybe. I mean, then he's got to get back to do his normal show, so it would be like 3 plane rides in a day, 3 plane rides in a day. So he'll
Well,
get back up to I think his show's in Indy, I think. So get back to Indy to host his normal show.
yeah. So you have Saturday game day. Uh, which show does he normally commentate? SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Okay.
So
Well,
then
I mean,
he could.
you get a day break.
Yeah, that's true. He does do a lot of prep though. The man does a lot of prep for both shows. They've shown some of his prep work for like college game day shows. I mean, he's learning everything. He's learning about the history of your school. He's learning about the chants, the all that stuff because he likes to get him going because
Yeah.
that's the kind of guy he is, like the energy guy.
Oh, like the time he did the Georgia chant and then it ended and went like, "Give me Alabama."
Yep, yep. He loves to have. He's doing his
Pulled the
homework all the
swerve on
time.
him. That was
So,
great.
love him or hate him, the man preps for all the shows appropriately and puts a lot of work into it. So, um, and then puts his work into his normal daytime show as well. So,
Yeah.
but it was good to see him back. It's good to know he's gonna be back for Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm all in for that.
It was a little bit of a surprise seeing him for main event because we were really just expecting like, oh, he's just going to be back for Netflix.
Kind
And
of
it's like,
figured, but yeah, no, it worked out.
no,
Where
that's a big one too.
yep,
Because this also had to be big.
yep.
You know, all the matches were kind of like everything stayed the same.
So, getting back on track here for just a second on this one. How long do you
Yeah.
think Cody's out for?
I don't know because I mean, I'm thrown off by how fast Rhea Ripley came back from like her orbital bones being broken. Like I didn't think she'd be like right back immediately with a face mask.
Can I add some light to this to help out this time?
Is that Miss Lyons?
Yep, that's your girl. This is her rookie card.
Holy crap!
Uh, yeah, I remember how dark it was last time, so I was trying to like balance with my phone with the flashlight on to get a good light on it. So
Yeah, that the hair and where her thighs meet her back, kind of all that together, kind of
Gave it
gives
away?
away that it's her.
yeah,
Like who else could he be showing me here?
yeah. I found a bunch of rookie cards and a bunch of copies of each rookie card too. So I didn't even know I had Xia Brookside rookie cards. I met her recently, and I could have had her sign some rookie cards. I got Trick Williams rookie cards in here. I got Andre Chase rookie cards in here. Blair Davenport rookie cards in here. Hazes, Grayson Wallers, Braun Breakers.
Did,
Anyways,
did
sorry.
you just start collecting a bunch of like wrestling rookie cards out of nowhere one year, or what is this?
No,
Where'd all
I
these
will
come
pick
from?
up a random pack of cards here and there. I'll buy a random pack of Magic cards once in a while as well.
Yeah,
And do that. But my friend also actually collects. So a lot of times she will go through her stuff and give me whatever she
Like
has an insane amount of bulk of.
like yeah, kind of like duplicates.
Yeah, if she's got, six, five, six dupes of something, or she knows that there's certain people that if she's got dupes
Certain people
of
you're
like a
looking for.
rookie card or something, or a foil or autograph card, like a Shotzi one came my way not so long ago, just because she already has a Shotzi card or two signed, for example. Don't make their way my way. So some of this is probably stuff I pulled. A lot of it's probably stuff that she's given me. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, most of my stuff I have signed is signed to actual baseball cards from going to games and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So the entire
All right.
2012 team and stuff like that. But
Cool. Well, shall we get on into Raw? We're
yeah,
41 minutes in.
yep.
Um,
We've already touched on a lot of Raw as it is. I think we're doing pretty good, honestly. But
well, yeah, the starting segment seemed to kind of drag on forever with Punk trying to call out Seth.
well,
Comes through the aisleway.
he was doing the fourth wall thing that Kevin Owens does all so well. Kevin Owens has done the KO show before where people come down and they say somebody else's name, and KO's like, "Duh. You can't do that, man," because you say their name and then and the music hits. He's like, and look, now the music comes out, and I only have 2 chairs for the KO show. Now we have 3 people and 2 chairs. This is ridiculous, you know. So they kind of pulled the Deadpool stuff, and Punk decided to do that. What I found interesting though was Punk was like, "I just like to talk to my people," and I'm like, "Oh, he has a cult now. Fantastic." Because that's the line from Varsity Blues when the little kid shows up. "These are my people," and the mom's like, "Oh, you've started a cult. How lovely." Love that movie. But yeah, that's what he was like. "I'm here to talk to my people."
Yeah,
He is
so
awfully preachy, so it's similar.
they brawl again. Seth seems to be getting into a whole bunch of brawls lately.
Well, mostly with CM Punk supporters or Roman Reigns supporters, one of the two, either or.
Yeah, well, also Bronson Reed until he broke his ankles. That was a brawl every week.
Well, that's just because Bronson didn't really believe in rules. Like he
Yeah,
didn't.
well, Seth was pretty big on like let's just meet in the aisleway and beat the hell out of each other.
Oh, yeah, it's probably his best bet to win the fight, right? Like in the ring, he's out weight classed by about, I don't know, 4 divisions.
Yeah.
So for him, it's him being scrappy. For Reed, it's him, being a dick, being just big and scary, and not
Yeah.
wanting to follow rules. So it's all about perception, I guess. Like Seth said, it's all about perception.
So after that was the whole Finn kind of getting mad at Judgment Day and being catty with Liv.
Yeah,
We
what was
covered
the point of
that.
the bullhorn again? Why did Liv have a
I
megaphone?
don't. Well, it came from Saturday Night Main Event, but they never like seemed to really
They
use
never
it.
paid it off. They did nothing related to Jimmy Hart.
You're like, you're
Nothing
like,
at
hey,
all.
grab the bullhorn, like, and they didn't really do anything with it.
Right. Like it's clearly a Jimmy Hart reference, but they did nothing with it. So
Yeah, I don't get it.
yeah.
Um,
They didn't even yell into it or anything like that. So like
so they went,
wasn't even annoying with it in any way, shape, or form.
yeah. So Liv and them go to the ring. They set up a match with Rhea essentially.
They're being awfully cordial at this point now. The attacking
Yeah,
randomly is done. Now they're actually standing and posing and facing off, I've noticed.
yeah. It's kind of what was it? A Saturday Night Main Event. Rhea just came out and went like, "I'm just here to stand menacingly at you while you have 2
Yeah,
other
it was
people that can jump me at the same time and re-break my face."
that was a whole like, "I'm still here, don't forget about me." And then she came out tonight and pretty much said the same thing, but said that Pierce has already said she's the new #1 contender. But that, I don't think anybody doubted that. There was nobody else. Io
Yeah,
lost, so now there's a new #1 contender, and it's the woman who never lost the belt fairly. I mean, she lost it technically at SummerSlam, but
yeah,
um, that was the whole point where Dom made his turn and kind of screwed her over. So,
yeah.
and then there was some injury stuff along the way, and blah blah blah. So she's due for a rematch.
Yeah.
So it makes complete sense. So nothing new came from that, but they're just in a good standoff mode now, more than anything else. So
Then after that was our next behind the scenes thing with McIntyre approaching Seth to be like, "Hey, we both don't
same
like
teamsies, same
CM Punk,
teamsies.
yeah, be the same team and smack him around." And
Uh, yeah, no,
yeah, he's just like, "Yeah, but you're beating up on my other
yeah, you're
friends."
actually hitting my friends. I
So
don't like you.
and I can't. I kind of like the way where he went with like these guys I respect, and that's how we have a friendship. I'm not friends with you, and he didn't quite go. I don't respect you. Like he didn't go like I don't respect you. He's just like jury's still out on you.
Right,
Yeah, that was an all right way to kind of put it. Where it's like, I guess there could be, but maybe not.
right.
Um, so then it's like, that seems like it's a little open ended to get resolved as McIntyre attacks Seth just because, yeah, well, screw you too. You
Right.
enjoy me, I'll tune you up as well. Um, After that, we finally started getting into matches. What was it? The first one was Breaker and Ludwig, and that's the first one where I just wrote down long match.
Well,
That went for a long time. I mean, yeah, I didn't hate it. Uh,
Kaiser hasn't done a lot, and so they needed to make Kaiser look good to some degree and start building Kaiser up. Otherwise, what's the point of him? And so I feel like they
did
had to do something, and the best way for Kaiser to look strong is to target a body part, and that takes forever when they do that.
so initially I didn't see what hurt Braun's arm. Was it Braun doing something,
Oh,
and
same.
then
No, I was watching two football games at the same time.
see that's I had to run that back because that's the thing I missed. Now, of course, Kaiser took advantage of it the whole time,
Right.
like any kind of like technician
Yeah.
wrestler would. Um, Interesting they
Probably the
didn't
ring
kind of.
post. It's always the ring post.
Well, eventually they did use the ring post to bust it, but to kind of hit it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Kind of made them both look really strong. Braun kind of powering out of a lot of those
Braun,
submissions on the arm.
but Breaker to me always has looked strong. He doesn't get booked in a way to not look strong. Kaiser coming out of the gates hot, in my opinion, because like
Yeah,
he's had some matches, but nothing of any serious nature, and this is the first one that was kind of serious that I can think of.
yeah.
And
This is the one that made me pay attention to him
yeah,
because otherwise, you know, being with Gunther, he just seemed like a lackey, and he's just not coming off as like really a threat. But with this, he actually kind of did. Um, Title was up for grabs, so it kind of makes sense why you know we didn't see a win out of Kaiser. I think if the title wasn't up for grabs, you could actually see him taking the win, like just maybe somehow submitting Braun. Just he's just in the center of the ring, can't get away, can't get anywhere, he can't power out of it,
see, I
and it's
wouldn't
just
think they could make Braun lose to Kaiser yet, but you're right. I could see him getting a win in a different way, like a count out or some way that doesn't require Braun to like physically give in because I don't think they want to do that with his character yet.
yeah. I mean, I guess the only way they could make it so they physically give in is like you make it so it's not a title match,
I don't think they
it's
want to
no
do that yet.
disqualification. He's already screwing up his arm. You go get a chair and you start doing that type of chair shot where Braun's laying on his like chest and stomach on the mat, and they start smacking here with the chair. That real good shot where it looks like you're hitting them,
I mean, you
but you're
could do
clanging
that.
it
I just
on the
don't.
mat.
Right, and that's 100% what they could do. I just don't think they would do that yet. I'm actually surprised he
Well,
lost to Sami Zayn when he did.
I mean, if they do that, that's just yeah. I don't think that takes away from Braun. He's getting the hell beat out of him a weakened body part with a chair, and then
You
like
just want to
maybe put
match
in
with
a
a weakened
submission.
body part. That was my point. They want to make him look, even when he's hurt, damn near invincible. I think
So basically, they're trying to make him like a more believable Goldberg in a sense,
Goldberg or
where
Brock. Yeah,
like the
that's what I think. I don't know if they're gonna do that, obviously, but that's what I think. They're gonna make him into the new Brock Lesnar, essentially.
yeah. Oh,
But you're right. That's how they could do
there,
it. You're right. And Kaiser could use that. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know. What if you did it to Kaiser? What have you built him up for right now? Anyways, there's not enough time to use him. They need to wait till January.
I mean, yeah, but with Kaiser being out on his singles run, not as a henchman, it builds him up to be a threat and to be a player in what's essentially the mid card right now, like
100%. But they just don't have time right
IC
now.
US title.
In a
Yeah, I
month they'll have
mean,
time. Right now they don't have time.
sure, but I
Right now
mean,
they have to. They have, and it's rightly so. But they have the women's matches to worry about. Now they have to go through
true.
the IC title stuff for the women. So you're going to see a multiple women's matches, which I'm not complaining about. But they're gonna, they're going to have to see them, and that means it's just not. Someone like Kaiser ain't going to have a lot of time, and they're going to have to do stuff like
Oh,
they did with the Wyatt sick tonight, and they're going to have to be like just mentioned backstage in a brief segment, for example,
yeah,
which is fine. We don't need to see the same people every single week. I'm absolutely fine with that.
yeah. I mean, I just think they can kind of keep working with him. I mean, the fact that he was on the show tonight with the limited matches shows that they see something in him and they
oh, for
want to build
sure.
him. So, I
The
mean,
question just
they could have.
it just
Could have done
sometimes
a
takes
lot.
a while for a character to get to where they need to be strong, so to speak, if that makes sense. I think the days of what Vince used to
Yes.
do is probably over. Vince used to put a belt on a guy almost immediately, take it off of him like 2 months later, and then build him up from there.
Yeah.
Like that was like the Miz had his first belt pretty early in his career,
They
lost it,
did.
and then had to build back up to that main wrestler status again. Um, I like Kaiser. I think he's great. I just don't know until we get into a time where we have more time to show more wrestlers. I just don't know if you need to make anybody else look strong. I think we saw it tonight. You got a faction, you got um, 6 or 7 strong players, and that's your show. Like that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Like they don't have time until a month from now because again, they're hour.
correct. That's I'm sorry. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like you
Okay.
can build these strong characters up, but if you can't use them yet, they're kind of wasted. The strength is being wasted on anything.
Yeah.
It's
I
almost
still
a
think
good
they could have long played it, but I mean,
yeah, but I mean it would be a long play to make him look strong. But by the way, he could still do. He could be the next IC champion. He could get the next best shot at him and eventually beat him. And this strength for Kaiser builds because of these matches against Braun, who's already established as the badass. Um, so this could just be the first step in him getting to that point. But there's just
yeah.
no. I don't see any point in making too many characters look too strong right now because of the lack of time. Both shows are 2 hours, and you just roll with the stories you have going that are hot right now, and worry about adding more characters that are stronger and more backstories. Or if you're making a TV show or sitcom, an A, a B, and a C scenario
Yeah.
until you have the time. That's all I'm saying.
Fair
But it's a
enough.
good first step. You're right. He did look really good, and so that may be the chapter one to Kaiser becoming an IC champion 6 months from now.
Yeah, I mean, he's already had a few singles matches before this from breaking away with Gunther, and I kind of don't watch it too much because it just doesn't
He's
have my
the heel.
attention.
He's
But
the typical heel guy that does slow matches. And if you're not into slow matches, I get it.
yeah, I friggin' ADD, man, I zone out a bit.
Yeah, it's most of
But
us.
with
Don't worry.
this, yeah, with this, I liked what I saw. So
Just
I don't
be
know.
ready for that. Be ready for the matches to be slow builds and him working body parts because that's just what a bad guy is supposed to do. There's not too many bad guys that come out of the gate at a million miles an hour. So, and he's gonna
Yeah.
look the part. He's really good at playing to the crowd. He's got a great look. I think Kaiser's got a great future. Um, I just, I think that was a great match for him. I just don't want to see him
Yeah.
get too strong and then just get lost in the fray because of the lack of time. That's all.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't see him getting lost, but yeah,
I mean, they
we're
were
not gonna.
tag champions, I think, at one point already.
Wait, what?
I
What
think he was
was?
tag champs with his partner already once.
Yeah. Well.
It's one of those things that's already forgotten about
All right.
often.
Fair enough.
So
Well, we don't need to argue about this all
no,
night.
not an argument. I'm not. I think we're both saying he's got great skill and will go places. I think we're not really. We're just arguing about the timeline, but I think we're both in the
Yeah.
same concept of how good he actually can be in the ring for sure.
Yeah.
So
Well, uh, was the very next thing the triple threat women's match? Or am I
I think it
missing something
was.
in between there? Well, so with these girls, I don't know the other two too well. I guess Raquel Rodriguez. I don't see her do too many matches. Like I haven't been seeing too many
So
of
we have
those.
refresh my memory. Raquel, we had
Zoe
Zoe.
Stark
Yep.
and Jaden Carter. I think Jaden's her first name.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
Yes.
love her what she does with her hair. That
Oh, she's
looks
fun.
that looks
She's
cool
usually
as
a tag
hell.
team. She's usually tag teaming with the ex American Ninja Warrior.
It'd be Jr. going like, I don't know about that hairstyle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so the one's a primary tag team wrestler. Carter's a primary tag team wrestler. Getting a chance to do some stuff. Raquel just came back from injury. So
yeah,
when you saw her show up at the, what was it, Bad Blood or whatever, when Dom was up in the shark cage, that was her
yeah,
return.
yeah.
So she really hasn't had a lot of matches. She's just playing enforcer. And then Zoe is, not Zoe. Yeah, Zoe.
No, yeah. Zoe
Sorry, I
Stark.
went Zoe Sky in my head. So whenever I say
I
Zoe,
know.
I'm thinking
I
of the wrong
see. I
person.
see that name pop up. I'm like, is that the Zoe we know? I'm like, oh,
No.
damn.
So Stark.
And just
So
not to
Stark.
take anything away from her, but
No. So Stark though, strong wrestler, has had some feuds with like Trish Stratus and stuff like that already in her career. Great, great prospect. Uh, really, it was a fine match. I guess it makes no sense for Raquel to win unless you want to build an incredibly strong stable. So it makes sense that you have Raquel look good but lose, and then this way she can go back to being Liv's bodyguard essentially.
yeah,
Um, Carter again, they just like her apparently, and Katana Chance is what the American Ninja Warrior's name is right now. So they like those two, and that's great. I think they work great. They have great chemistry. Didn't see a reason why. Didn't see a way that she won this. So it makes a lot of sense, and it gives that stable. I can't think of their name right now. Sonya, Shayna, and Stark. A member in the tournament the entire way through. So you're going
yeah,
to see the three of them be a menace to try to get Stark the IC belt.
yeah.
And you already
Makes
saw
sense.
that because they already took out my favorite pirate. Those.
Yeah, smashing her hand in a dumpster or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I was like, it's like I don't know why Tatum Paxley didn't just stop it from happening while she was in there, but uh, one of those like shipping crates is what they use to slam her hand in there. So
Yeah,
and she's in one of the next tournament matches. So they eliminated her essentially from that, or they've injured her so she's less effective in her qualifying match. And I guess the psychology behind that would be that she's also in a group. So if you take her out of there, you don't have damage control running around the ring, keeping it a fair fight all the way around.
yeah,
They're going to have it so that Sonya and Shayna can interfere or be involved in this in a way that helps Stark get the IC title. Is probably the thought. So we'll have to wait and see. But the women's division is strong in WWE right now.
Yeah, it really is.
So
As you can see, I'm still trying to learn them all.
there's a lot. There's a lot. Asuka's still running around. She's just hurt. Hopefully, she's able to come back soon.
Yeah.
Which it might be a reason why the Pirate got hurt. Because that's a strong tag team. And if they want Io branched out on her own, then you would use Asuka and Kairi to go after the tag titles. Or if Asuka comes back on her own, then you move Io back into the tag spot with to Kairi. So either way you want to do it, but hopefully Asuka's getting back close to being able to wrestle again, because Asuka's been one of my favorites since I came back to watching wrestling.
Oh yeah.
She was
I
probably like the
remember that.
third person to sign the belt, my first belt.
Yeah, with her. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely some of your excitement towards seeing her that started making me peak. Like, man, everything's
She
starting to
had
get
such
good again.
great matches in Japan, and then she had the tag match. She had a mixed tag match where she was teamed with Kenny Omega, and just always put on such great shows, and was scary in Japan. She's more of her current look that you see now with the crazier smile type paint and stuff like that, instead of the traditional Asuka lighter paint jobs that she would do.
Yeah.
So, and just a really good striker. Just obviously has a badass martial arts background, because she was always a good striker with very believable strikes. And I just was a big fan because of it. And she's your typical. She was the first Japanese woman wrestler that I've seen consistently, because I didn't watch New Japan up before 2010. I just didn't do it. Or Stardom or any of that. So I didn't get to see the level of costume design that they do. They all go all out with costumes there. Like, they're all wearing robes or 5 or 6, 7, 8 pieces to their gear, and it's, multicolored or it's themed or whatever. That's to a whole different degree than we have here, especially back in the day.
It's
So
interesting that Asuka was a fashion designer before she even got into wrestling.
she's got
So
that
that,
design degree. Yeah, if you
that
follow
really
her
helps.
IG and her Twitter accounts and stuff like that, she does a whole bunch of fun videos and stuff where she edits herself into like Simpsons clips and stuff like that. So she had a
That's
good
pretty
YouTube
good.
channel going too. She built she has she had a video where she built a gaming chair, like a Razer gaming chair or something like that, and
Okay.
that was pretty funny to watch that come together. So she's good. She knows marketing pretty well and
Yeah.
design. So
Okay. So in between that match with Stark winning, was there anything else before the Judgment Day and War Raiders tag team match?
there was the backstage segment where Kyrie gets her hand slammed in there. And there's a
I thought
reoccurring
that
theme, because there was a couple times
that
when they would try to do backstage interviews, and the interviewer would have to run off to go cover noises and dysfunction backstage.
yeah.
Because somewhere in there also, they cut to her trying to interview Seth about getting what he wants as he's leaving, and you see in the background Drew come running, like he's running at Seth, but he gets intercepted by Sammy, and the brawl breaks out between Sammy and Drew. And
Oh yeah.
I was curious what was going to happen. Like, was he going to attack Seth? I mean, I guess,
Seems like it. That I
but
mean that was what I kind of led on to, because I saw the part where Drew and Sammy were fighting. I must have missed the part where he
the
was
lead in was
beeline at
they
Seth.
were trying to interview Seth about him getting what he wanted, and you could see in the background that he came running, and as he's coming running, that's when he gets intercepted by Sammy, and the fight breaks out.
That must be what was going on then.
Yep.
That's exactly what I thought. Where it's just like, oh, you not with me, you must be against me, even though
Hmm.
you said I'm indifferent with you,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that
You're
you're
right. It
attacking my
really.
friends.
Yeah. And then the
So,
the that was like a running theme of the night. Because then when she went to interview somebody else, it went nowhere because Kyrie was getting crushed by the loading equipment.
Yeah.
Um, so there was that. What else happened backstage? Something else happened backstage too, and I can't think of what it is right now. New Day still can't find a place to change. Don't know why they had to change. They didn't do anything.
Here, suit up in case maybe we'll give you a match with who knows.
Right. But that's their their bit tonight was to just wheel around their luggage with them the entire time backstage. Uh Still better than being booked to get kicked in the face, I guess, but
Yeah, I guess.
what else are
Here,
we
lean on this crutch, get kicked in the face.
what else is there that happened? Something
Okay.
else happened backstage. I can't think of what it is. Oh, we had the two matches set up. I think maybe one for sure next week and one probably coming up soon, which is Gable's going to wrestle Tozawa. Why, I don't know.
I don't know either one of those names, I don't think.
Chad Gable, part of what
Oh,
was
Chad
Alpha,
Gable.
was part of Alpha whatever.
Yeah.
For some reason now is going to start to dismantle them by one, starting
Oh,
with Tozawa. Like, what is that? Tozawa didn't do
Tozawa's.
anything to you. Just move on, dude. You got the two Creed brothers back there. Whatever. Don't bother with Tozawa. What are you doing, man? Let the poor guy just be.
Is Tozawa Otis's partner? Is that.
Yes, Tozawa's Otis's
Okay.
partner. Yes.
I
Just,
haven't heard his name enough to learn it.
yeah.
That's my problem.
Obviously, he wasn't going to start with Otis because Otis is going to, crush Gable to a degree. Going to at least give him a good match. But I don't understand why this is a thing. I thought Chad Gable's character and everything just moved on, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's kind of. Some of these storylines are a little weird and convoluted where it's like, it seems like they move on, then they come back to it. It's like,
Well, it's
huh?
because it's the safe one to go back to. Like he was the original target for the Wyatt Sick, but now that's done, and Wyatt Sick's dealing with the Miz and Karrion Cross's group. So now what do you do with Chad Gable again? Like, what do you do with
Yeah.
that? So they decided to just push him back over towards the original Alpha Squad members and have him fight Tozawa. But it's just like, I don't want to see that again. We did this feud. Like, we just did this feud before this feud. I didn't forget.
Yeah. And I don't know, the thing with Chad Gable and the White Sick, they didn't. Did they even really have
There was a
a
match, and
concrete finish to that?
there was a
It was just a
match.
match?
Yeah. That's the weird
Yeah.
part with the White Sick is that it's becoming this thing where they have a match and the match is normal. And then a whole bunch of supernatural stuff happens to lead into a match, and then a match happens and it's normal. And it's
It's,
very bizarre how they're doing this with them.
yeah. I'm worried about that. Um, with them sort of like recreating that stable because one of the things I didn't like that they ever did with Bray Wyatt was like they build him up to be like such an interesting character just to make him fucking lose a lot. Not all the time, but
Well, they did make him invincible there for a while. The man was lit on fire at one point against Randy Orton.
yeah. What was that
So,
during the Fiend
yep.
time
Yeah,
when
the
they
Fiend
kind
was
of
pretty much indestructible.
when they kind of reinvigorated that character? But before that, like before the Fiend character, he was on quite a bit of a losing streak.
Yeah. I want to
Like
say
it
it was
didn't.
he. I think he's the one who took the most brutal set of stair shots I've ever seen in my life. Cena just chucked the stairs out of the ring at him one time
Oh Jesus.
and just poof, down, down goes Bray. Um,
Yeah. I still don't like him wrestling the Undertaker at WrestleMania. I I'm like it's like two sides of the same coin. Like why the hell are they fighting? I don't get it.
they missed a lot of opportunities, but they didn't expect Bray to die. It was. I mean, they missed the opportunity for um, the Demon Finn versus Bray. They missed a lot, but
No.
you didn't. No one had thought he was going to die. So what are you going to do? You know.
were they both in NXT with their respected characters at the same time? Or were they
Uh,
technically like two different classes?
they probably crossed paths. I mean, I watched it. I should know, but I can't tell you for sure. But I want to say Bray probably came up first because I think Luke Harper, whose birthday was today, I believe, um, one of the members of the original Bray Wyatt
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
who went on to go to AEW. But um, he, I think he was up already at this point. So I want to say Bray was probably up, but they probably both were there for a little bit together. Yeah.
And
But
they could
Bray's
have had something
character
there.
then was nowhere near the character that it developed into with the Fiend.
Oh yeah,
That was a lot of stuff where surprisingly Vince and Trips just let Bray do his thing. He came up with the idea for the Muscle Man song, and the Funhouse stuff, and
well, I think they got to the point where they saw this like undeniable amount of creativity that he brought out. Where but before I forget the uh, what was his name? It was like Husky something. Was he part of the Nexus?
oh, I don't think so. The Nexus was forever ago.
Yeah, but it was when he was first. He wasn't Bray Wyatt yet, but he was like it's like Husky Harris or something like that. CM Punk brought it up before he left WWE. I think he was part of the original Nexus. He was just like
Well,
he kind of got lost as one of the henchmen, and then they didn't
let's
really
go
have
back a
anything after
ways.
that, and they sent him back down to developmental and ended up in NXT, and that's where he developed the Bray Wyatt character. I think with kind of Dusty Rhodes encouraging him, if I
Yes, Dusty
remember
was
the
a big
stuff
part
right.
of.
And then of course Triple H works with him with like how to hold the lantern. Like, don't have it way down here, have it up at your face, so it's illuminating your face, even if you can't fucking see. Everybody can see you, and you look great like that.
Yep,
So
you're right. You know what? I wasn't watching in 2010. I did not realize Nexus was going on in 2010. I put
I
that
think
back
the
in like
way
'06 or '07 in my head for some reason.
I had to, I think, learn about that was I stopped watching, and then all this stuff started happening with CM Punk. As soon as I'm getting interested, it was about the time of the pipe bomb and him leaving the company and all that. So I'm having to go back and like YouTube and just
Here's the
see all this stuff and kind of like relive what I missed.
right. CM Punk's big run was going on when I first came back and started watching again. And his big run was facilitated by the Shield. I'm surprised it's not been brought up yet. The Shield was like
Um,
his personal bodyguard back then. Like the lights would go off and
oh
suddenly
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that kind of stuff would happen. The Shield would be there. The Shield would triple power bomb people through the announce table and give Punk the win essentially. So I'm
yeah. And
surprised it has unless they don't want to bring it up because of Moxley being an AEW. Or they don't want to bring Roman back down to the Shield level. I don't know why they haven't brought that back up. Like why hasn't Punk
yeah.
been like your historic run only happened because of me?
Well, I mean, they do a little bit with the like stabbing his buddies in the back. That chair
Literally
shot.
saying though that your run wouldn't have happened without me is something they could do.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that they don't like quite bring it up like that because I mean, when Punk left and was talking about that whole scenario, he's just like, well, they were gonna put like some random people with me and just pick it like themselves, and he just went like, no, I mean, pay attention to these people. I want this one, this one, and this one,
Right.
because if you need to be paying attention to what they're doing, bring them up. Have you not been watching what they're doing?
Right.
And yeah, I think he handpicked all three of them. Definitely Seth and Roman.
Yeah, and come to think of it, like Bray Wyatt's group may have been there before Finn. So
I
they
think
may not
I
have
think
crossed
so.
them
If anything,
because I remember the Shield and the Wyatt family face off. That was a thing that
gotcha.
happened. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Finn might have been part of the next following class,
Finn
as
hung out down there for
you
a
put it.
while because he was so popular with the Demon
Yeah,
persona. He did the match with Kevin Owens and in Japan. There was a Samoa Joe in Japan. I think it was Kevin.
I mean, yeah. During that time with Demon Finn, I mean, that was we were more interested in watching
NXT,
NXT's
right? Because
like pay per views rather than the main shows.
and rightly so. You had matches like Sasha versus Bailey, that Iron Woman match that was insane.
Yeah,
So, not to mention what Paige was doing, what Finn was doing. Sammy was down there doing stuff. KO was doing pop up apron power bombs, and Tyler Breeze was making everybody look good but losing at the same time.
I think what like that was me starting to have a resurgence with that because you were like, there's so much cool stuff
So
going
much
on with that.
talent,
Yeah, watch.
so much cool stuff, and so much
Started
talent.
watching it, and then they would start calling these people up, and then kind of like sandbag them. Like they
Pretty
kind of
much
like
everybody but
they
KO.
obviously yeah they kind of obviously didn't like really have their creativity to do exactly what they wanted to do with their character, and a lot of times they didn't get built strong when they came up out of NXT.
A lot of them didn't, but a lot of them, like if the character was a superstar, they did well with him in the call up. So, off the top of my head, uh, NXT champion Kevin Owens immediately feuded with John Cena over the U.S. title. They made him look good.
Mm.
Finn came up with the demon persona and immediately did pretty well.
Now,
Uh,
at one point, didn't Finn end up going back down to NXT kind of recently? Like maybe a few years ago? He was probably back up on the main roster for 2022 because that's when Judgment Day formed.
he did go back down for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that's partly what I'm thinking of. Like,
I don't think he ever not had a strong run though. I'd say honestly, his Judgment Day run, right before his Judgment Day run, might have been his weakest run he had um, since he's been here. And not just because he hasn't used the demon character, but because he had some bad losses in there to Edge, and which that looks horrible now in hindsight. That Edge beat the demon in Hell in Cell, and then Edge ran off to AEW.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know. I just think his persona now as the Prince hasn't really paid off as well as I think it should.
yeah,
So, but he did. He was the first Universal title holder,
yeah,
but that didn't last super long. The belt didn't last
yeah.
super long.
Yeah, now the belt don't exist.
So,
Uh,
but
they just
Asuka had a
merged
good
it with.
strong push when she first came up. Paige won the Divas title, I think it was, immediately, or the women's title immediately.
Oh,
She
okay.
came up and she hit the Page Turner on AJ Lee and won the belt. So
Okay.
some of them had strong starts to their pro career, but not many of them. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm getting to about an hour or 20 minutes. Might as well cover this last match, I guess, real quick. Judgment Day and War Raiders.
yep,
Um, War Raiders winning it, getting the titles. Actually, saw a title change
yep,
on Raw instead of like a title change on Saturday Night Main Event.
yep.
How you feeling about that? Were they due to have
They've
that?
they've been a quality tag team for many years. One of them lives in our state, or is from our state.
Uh,
Um,
which one are we talking about? The War
uh,
Raiders?
yeah,
Oh, which one lives in our state?
Eric.
Oh, okay.
The not Ibar, the other one. Um,
Okay.
I believe they still live in the state, but I know he's from Ohio. He has wrestled at AIW, our local show in our area here, on multiple occasions.
Is he somewhat near us?
No, no. There's a few Ohio people that are or near Ohio wrestlers that I won't name where they're at or who they are, but um, Ohio, I'll say that.
Okay.
A lot of the farm people like Ohio. Not all of them,
Okay.
but a lot of the farm people like Ohio. I'll talk to you about that afterwards.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, like Eric would come to the AIW shows and stuff like that, and he was great for just a cool dude whenever he was here. I only saw him once, but I think he came multiple times to AIW. But uh, so it's worthy. I mean, they were in Japan. They've done everything. They've wrestled everywhere. They deserve these titles from the standpoint of a work ethic. And they're both getting older. They almost said like in the little promo they cut beforehand where everything was tinted red. I don't know why we're going mono color for all these these tag team promos, but
They hired someone new for all their promo stuff.
right, just weird that all the tag team it's like, okay, you're black and white, you're tinted red, like we're gonna get one shade, we're
I,
getting shades
I,
or one color, or that's it.
I want black, white, and green, so it's like my old TV that lost its ability to have
I
red
love it.
or blue, and it was just green. And it's just like the green goes out. All I got is black and white,
Right,
if even that.
that'd be
That was
fantastic.
that was a weird TV.
That'd be like $1 million man scenario. It's like I got green. It's all I need. It's just making it rain nowadays. Um.
Oh, imagine if that TV just only had red. Ugh.
Oh boy, everything would look way spooky. It'd be like the
Yeah.
Fiend.
That time you put that red light bulb in your basement, I'm like, I'm gonna be sick. I can't do this.
I was fine with it, man. I was pre-Fiend. I was Fiend before the Fiend was Fiend.
You were.
It looked really spooky when you walked past the house, like down the
Oh
alley
yeah,
next to
down
it.
the alley.
Because
Yeah.
the basement lights were it just looked red throughout the entire. It was just one light bulb, but that one light bulb would kick. Like it had.
That was a strong friggin' light bulb. It was in the middle of the basement. It just lit everything up.
Yep.
Like you're
Yeah.
sucking blood down there.
Oh my god. You know what? Um, I was a big fan of a lot of vampire movies, but a lot of them were like filmed with that blue film. I think it was Fuji film at the time. So I think it had like a blue tint. You think it would have had a blue light, but nope, I had a red light. I was
Yeah.
looking for the health benefits. I wanted better skin. I wanted red light therapy at
Yeah, to fuck up your eyes at
17
the
years
same
old or
time.
16 years old.
Couldn't focus in that room.
It was like a weird room where like you could also think that maybe I was like developing film in it too from the outside. Like you
Oh
probably
yeah.
that dude's a photographer apparently. Nope, just
It's either a
an angry
photographer or
teenager with a red
creep.
light for some reason. So
All right. So what does this mean for the Judgment Day? Them losing their titles, just
more
like
dissension within the Judgment Day and a feud between Finn and Damien.
yeah,
That's what
like
that means.
Finn was already pissed off, and now he loses his titles.
Yep. And
So we're not going
he
to get
took the pin, so it's going to look bad. It's going to be more of the dissension within the Judgment Day because he took the pin,
yeah.
and he's going to be mad about that. No one was out there to help stop Damien from interfering.
They couldn't be.
Right.
They're banned from ringside.
Right. You would think that everyone should just be banned from ringside at all times. In theory, probably shouldn't have a random person like Damien coming over the barricade.
Yeah, because like in all fairness, like back in the day, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well, last week we had interference, so we're redoing the match or something
Right.
else with different stipulations." But they're not going to do that. You're just going to be like, "Yeah, oh well."
No, like what they should do if they wanted to really play into like the anger of the feud, like next week's Raw should start off with like Damien by like a wall or something like that, and it's starting with Finn coming in and doing like a shotgun drop kick into him from off camera. Like he's like doing an interview or something backstage, or he's walking in like they have him do a lot of times now. They have the lead-in shots, and then just Finn just boom with a shot, like pissed right off the bat, like laying into him.
Just mugs the hell out of him.
Yep.
Yeah,
you're the reason I don't have the world title. You're the reason I lost my tag titles, and just going off like boom, 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 boom. Like this would be like the snapping point for Finn.
yeah, they could do it that way. Because I guess you don't really need to do any more like really sniping at him. You just got his title
Yeah,
stripped
you've
from him.
you've ended his title chance here, and you've taken his title belt, his tag title belt, and he's already unhappy with his alignment within the group. So if this isn't the breaking point, then something with Liv has to be the breaking point that makes him snap. But he's got to snap. Like they're picking on him enough that he's got to snap and just want to go off on Damien. Um,
You think he snaps enough? We see the demon come back.
I think they'd like to make the sales, so I think at some point they'll bring the Demon back. They probably want to wait long enough that people forget that he lost to Edge if they can. They want to wait for that to happen, then bring him back, and then just never speak of him losing to Edge, and have him pick
Yeah,
up wins again that way. But I don't think he wants to always be the Demon anymore. I think that's a lot of work to get painted up, and I think he
sure,
didn't.
not all the time, but I mean, if you have a thing where you're getting messed with this much and you eventually
It would make
snap,
complete sense storyline wise. I'm 100% with you. I'm hoping he does do that, but
come out
um,
one time,
yeah,
like, and then drop it.
yeah. But I mean, that'd be WrestleMania
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
get the whole
essentially it would
grand
be.
entrance and you get to have all the time in the world to do everything you want to do. That would
Yeah,
be that would be the one. And this I could see this feud, Liv, Rhea, Damien, Finn, Judgment Day, Dissension. That seems like a WrestleMania payoff to me. I feel like they're gonna wait. So,
yeah,
um,
probably.
but yeah. I mean, the big stuff tonight was Seth and Punk and Judgment Day.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
we got NXT tomorrow and SmackDown on Friday. Finally, a Saturday off, essentially. um,
Yeah,
we don't have anything going on
yeah,
Saturday with this stuff. So Friday night, hopefully, we'll come back and recap NXT and SmackDown. But
yeah.
I think I'm good
Luckily,
covering main event and Raw. How about you?
yeah, I'd say so. Luckily, there's nothing this Saturday because I'll have company. So,
I'll be watching a ton of college football.
yeah,
So we kept it to an hour and a half, which is like at least 20 minutes shorter than any other stream we've done so far. So that's a good start.
yep,
So yeah, once again, we'll be back here after SmackDown at roughly probably 11 on Friday, and that's about it. 11 o'clock roughly on Mondays and Fridays, and got some other ideas for content, but we'll have to wait and see on that, on when that gets rolling, so to speak.
yeah.
Tozawa. Anyways, uh, that's related to the content. That's related to the wrestling game.
Okay.
So, but all right, it's been fun. I will talk to you in a second in Discord, and I will talk to everybody else next time. Later.
Goodbye.